Apologies for the no sound on this section. I'm not quite sure why it's not doing it, but that's obviously something my end. So watch back this morning's version where it worked perfectly. Hello, good afternoon. Sorry about that. I have no idea why the sound didn't play on that one. That's one of those weird ones where, yeah, there was no right or reason for it, but for some reason we had no sound on that. So never mind.
All the movies were silent anyway.
Hold on, we need to just check what's going on. Oh, can everyone hear us 10 by 10, please? The audio stream bitrate is lower than recommended. I've got a little mash. Can everyone hear us? Testing, 1, 2.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it because I've got
check one, check
1, 2.
The other screen, so
yeah. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know quite what happened there, but I've got a little thing come up as well on my little stream saying stream rate as all the rest of it. So don't know.
There's definitely no sound to the start at all. Yeah.
Yes. Apologies, everyone. Not sure what's there. We'll try and do it again at the end of the show. Anyway, trust you all had a nice lunch. If you didn't see us before, obviously we were on this morning. Great builds being done by all. Great work by you guys. Things like that's going on at the moment. If I start with me, I can show you what I've been doing during our little lunch break. So I sanded back and trimmed back that. We put in a shim plastic card just down in there. I've put a little bit of black paint just as I was painting black on here and all the rest of it because I'm seam checking down both sides of it. So that is all done. I've literally just masked up both canopies and I've stuck the front one on. And then what I'll need to do is just pop a little bit of white tack just on the back of this. So what we'll do is we'll just shove, probably going to be a bit much. Oh, let's try half of that amount. So we're just going to pop a little bit of white tack just in here. He says that's not going to be enough. Probably do need all of it. All right, just in here to the rear. And then hopefully this will then stick in here and hold down. So it's just to temporarily tack this in place. So when we spray it, it's all done exactly at the same time. Also on the underside, I've done some foam inserts. I should have shown you that. Shall I quickly show you it? It's quite a cool little trick. So because obviously you can go out and buy these ones now, what you can do, if you've got some of this, and this is that high density foam that comes with a lot of aftermarket parts, i.e. a lot of brassing and things like that tends to come with this in the box. Always keep it. It's really, really good because you can cut it up to make masks. And I make things like FOD covers and that out of this stuff as well because it's really, really good for it. But basically what you can do is you get your wheel wells as you would do it on here, and then you just basically place them down, all right, draw around it and then cut it out. And then you just pop them in. So, and then you don't have to do two because all you do is, if I get one of these out, where's my tweezers gone? So literally all I do is pop these out. This is obviously, you can see, quite a bit thinner than this stuff. So all you do is do one, then cut it right down the middle and then just reverse it for both sides. So I've taken a little nick out of here because we've got a bar down in here, but then that one goes in there. And then we've got the one over here as well. And then that one just comes in and you simply just put it in and they make foam protectors for the inside wheel well colours. So again, you can buy them, but if you've got some of this stuff kicking around, it's a great, quick and easy way of doing it, of making them. And again, you don't have to do both. You just literally cut it in half, flip it onto its back, and then pop them in, and you're good to go. All right. So what I'm going to do in a moment is just sand these areas, just to check, seam check all of these areas, make sure we're all happy with it. If we're all happy with it, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to go straight into paint. I'm not going to mask it or anything else like that. We are literally just going to go straight into it and see how we get on, because obviously we're against the gun with this one because it's got to be done by tomorrow night. So that's my plan with this particular one. So yes, good job. And how's it going over there, guys? Who wants to go first? John, you're up.
Right. No, we've got almost there.
Nice.
I'm just doing the hinge mechanism on the front door at the moment. Now I think I'm gonna have mine in the up position.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not a bad little kit. The only fit areas I had a problem. You see across the top there was a gap between this bulkhead and the floor in here. So that was easy. That's just a little strip of plastic card across it, hid that. And the same on the join there. So rather than fill it, I just put a little plastic card strip. It will just look a bit like a bit of, you know, the hole on it. So it's going to look really nice. So the plan is by the end of the day, this is just ready for paint, and then tomorrow I can just paint it.
Very nice.
It's all one color, so I've got no awkward masking or anything to do. So yeah, no, it's not a bad little kit, to be honest. God knows what the 1/35th one's like, because this is 1/72, and it's.
I can say it's quite a chunk, isn't it?
It's a fair old size. The 35th one must be huge. But yeah, quite impressed with it. I could be tempted to do more naval stuff.
That's it. Now you can be converted. Now, Admiral Buller next. Very good, excellent. Right, Andy, how's the Thunderbolt coming along?
Yeah, fine. I basically, say halves are ready to go together. I'm just painting up the intake, which is 3 different colours according to the instructions. So I'm painting and masking off, getting that ready. I've also painted the engines ready to go together. Just needs a bit of detailing work done at the push rods and things, and the bit on the end with the carburetors, are they? There they are. And the propellers are painted ready black, ready to put the yellow tips on and do the centre bits silver, chrome.
You can tell none of us are engineers of any kind, can it? Because you don't know the name of anything.
Yes, it's quite quickly for things. I'm enjoying it as well. It's looking really nice. I'm well impressed with. It's a Tamiya kit again. Keep saying it, but it's Tamiya kit. But I'm really am enjoying it.
Good, because that's what we should all be doing here: is enjoying it and not fighting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Very nice. Okay, Nathan, how's 109 doing?
My little 109's coming along quite nicely. So all I've done over lunch, because I've stopped, is just masked up the front bit. The front bit's yellow. So this afternoon I'm going to be getting some MRPs down, a bit of freehand mottling. I love doing the mottling on the Luftwaffe stuff, so I should have some fun with that, get in the zone.
Very nice. We'll watch you with interest as you do it.
It's actually easier than you think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta get your airbrush like set right, like low pressure, lock in the thing, and just go for it. Yeah, fun. I love doing that.
Very nice.
It's
Very,
like
very
nervous
cool.
masking it, but yeah. Sure.
No, Mr. Matt, because he's had to go to work because we've got deliveries coming in. So he's skiving at the unit this afternoon, but he will be back on tonight. So don't fear on that one. But what we'll do, we'll go to around about sort of 3 o'clock and we'll have a look at your work as well. So if you can update everyone around about 3 o'clock as we make our way through and stuff. So I'll literally just do a bit of scene checking here. So all we've done, this has just got black acrylic paint on here. And then pop through. So anywhere it's left with black acrylic, technically there's a blemish. So you might be able to see you've got a couple of blemishes around here. There's definitely a bigger blemish back here. But it gives you quite a nice look. And what I tend to do is just keep sanding and see what happens. And as you can see, it's basically gone to nothing down there. So that blemish isn't anything really to worry about, is what we're really saying. So we're okay with that. These ones at the front is where I used a bit of Superglue filler. Trouble with Superglue, it's very hard, so you need to get rid of it. So by popping this down, you can. One thing I will say, and it was a thing that I saw a while ago, and somebody asked me recently about it, is about using a Sharpie pen for this job. The trouble with Sharpie, don't forget, it's an oil-based pen, so it can bleed and leach through your paint if you're using certain thinners with it, especially. So you do need to get most of it off, because otherwise it can come back and bite you quite nastily. So just be careful with that. If you're going to use pens and things, I highly recommend using the Posca pens, because the Posca pens are just acrylic paint. So it shouldn't really be affected by anything. But, you know, if you've ever come along with any type of enamels or lacquers, you'll know that Sharpie bleeds. So that's your problem with that. But no, we're looking very, very nice down in here. So hopefully shortly we'll get some paint on this and we'll be good to go with it all. Very good. So, what did everyone have for lunch? The usual thing?
I had a jack potato with on it, coleslaw and cheese.
Oh, nice.
I had a New York deli sandwich.
Oh, posh.
Oh,
Posh.
No, I cheated and went up the road and got a co-op meal deal.
Yeah, that's cheating. Well, I can't say because... Sorry, go on, Nate.
Bacon and egg.
Very nice.
Oh,
Very
God.
patriotic for our D-Day celebration.
Very 1944.
Was it powdered egg?
No, it was a proper egg, thankfully.
And spam.
Well, I should get some spam, shouldn't I?
And me, I just had my other half had been out this morning. She brought back a Marks and Spencer's sausage roll. So I had that with some scampi fries because I like to mix it up a bit.
Sausage roll and scampi fries.
Got to be done. Right, okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the tyres together on here, and then what we'll do is we'll
Matt had
think
pizza.
about getting in the spray booth.
Matt had Pizza Hut for lunch.
Did he? See, that's the perks of you lot living where you do. You can get Deliveroo and stuff like that and stuff delivered. Like me, what have I got? Nothing. Nothing delivers out here. I've got my local kebab house, which does, but that don't open till 5.
Yeah, we can get pretty much everything. Which can be a problem sometimes.
Well, to be honest, it's probably a good thing. They were on about building a McDonald's, KFC, sorry, it is, close to here on the A38. And I thought, God, if they do that, I'll be in there every day. Be the size of a house. Right, okay. Wheels.
One thing that's come from COVID, isn't it? That never really used to get so many delivery things before COVID, isn't it? Like just all kicked off, didn't it?
There you go. Like Grant's saying the same thing. KFC's opened opposite his office. Nightmare. That's the trouble. When it's very close, it's too tempting. Richard says, with the masks that I made my free ones underneath, they come free with Edard Raw Class P51. I don't think they come free. I think you're paying for them. Nothing's free in those kits. You're paying for it. Technically, I've paid for mine because I bet they charge you for the packaging. I think they're a good idea, those little foam masks and buying them in and that, if you're making multiples off. Like when I was doing the Hornet commissions, you know, been perfect for that. I'd have made very good use of them because I used to have templates for the paintwork and stuff that I've made myself out of photo etch and various things because it was well worth doing it because you're doing lots and lots of them. But for one-offs, I don't really, you know, just do what I've done. No, you haven't missed much, Carl. It's all right. We're just waffling and whittling. The dancing girls come out later. I'm expecting live updates from Matt all afternoon. You could get the old webcam going down there and could have done it from down there, thinking about it.
That's 100% literally, yeah.
Could have given us a guided tour around the store.
Yep.
I can actually connect to the security camera.
I was going to say, yeah, we could get the security camera feed, see if he's actually there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I wouldn't. You never know.
Well, yeah, good point. You don't know what you might see.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the front door open as well. Yeah. Turn the microphone on. We'll all shout abuse at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm just going to do a little bit of tidy up work under here. Because to be honest, I forgot it.
Yeah, that might be because the small painting died now.
Small, micro.
Micro.
It's like a microfilm.
75.
Hey, look, I can show my age now about using a microfilm on the old microfiche. Getting part numbers and things back in the day. See, they're a thing that nobody has to use anymore.
I was watching a thing on YouTube and the chap said, remember when Auto Trader was in a book and...
Do you remember that? I used to do that because obviously when I was a youth, I used to buy cheap old cars and motorbikes to run around the farm. And so it was the thing that used to come out on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
Getting there Friday morning.
Yeah, I always used to buy Auto Trader.
Yeah. And those are the days when they used to come around your house and take photos of your car for you.
Yeah.
See, the good old days. Auto Trader.
John says they still use microfiche stuff at work.
Okay. I thought it'd been a bit of a thing of the past now, really.
Well, does it work for Williams F1 team? Because they're all old school, aren't they?
I think they're a little bit more modern now, aren't they?
Well, yeah, trying to.
They're trying to modernise.
Yeah. Right, where am I?
Right. So, what colours shall we use for this? We can use real colour. We can use Tamiya, or we can use Hitaka.
One of each.
Choices, choices. What do we got? Let's see what we've got some of first, shall we? That's probably better. Is it ocean grey, the colour for these things? Can I remember? Without me getting my box of tricks out.
Yeah, it's XF82, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's ocean grey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, ocean grey, dark green.
It's 81, 82 in Tamiya.
Hmm.
And then underside is 83, is it?
No, 80, isn't it, I think? Isn't
80.
it 80 light grey? Ooh, we're going to be a bit hard pressed on that unless I've got another one somewhere. Let me check my backup store. 82 we seem to have tons of. Well, you can even do it in guns in theory. Right. Right. So 289. Ocean grey 288. Check. 289. Crikey. Right. Okay, so medium sea grey, which is the underside, I do believe. Perhaps it's not. What was it they say? 307.
.307 is
Yeah.
just grey. FS 36302.
Hmm.
It's blue, that does to me.
Yeah, it's a little blue. 307. Oh, I'm just looking for it in real colour. Medium sea grey. Well, they're saying 335. XF83. 286, 289, 288. Okay, 286, 289, 288. Right, thank you very much, David. That's the ones. We've got it here. Because to be honest, I've got these colours and I haven't got the others. That's me trouble. Okay, so where am I going to hold this? I wonder if I can get something up the back. Ooh, misses. Right. There we go. Don't like him up him, but there we go. Right. So we got that. We're also going to need the doors. Doors. What else are we going to need? So I take it the insides of all the doors on these and everything's probably just silver, is it?
Rabbit hole, rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think that's not going to worry about that.
What the undercarriage does.
Yeah. The same as Tempest?
I've done mine in. Yeah, mine's also. I've done mine all in silver.
Well, the wheel wells as well.
Yeah.
Have you? Oh, I might have done the inside doors in green.
You nosy.
Let me reference back to the good old days. Where is it? Hold on, look.
You can't probably use yours for reference. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, they were silver.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Mine are green now. Mine's an upgraded version. Because of the speed.
Speed.
Yeah, we did it silver right the way through. Okay, fair enough. Right. Okay, let's give these a bit of a wake up. Chris says, is it always necessary to use a primer before applying Tamiya acrylics? Technically, no, but it's good practice because acrylics don't bite as well as a lacquer does, shall we say. Also, it depends on the plastic that you're using. So if you've got something a little bit shiny, like Hasegawa plastic, it's a little bit too smooth sometimes, and you can have trouble with it lifting if you mask over it and things like that. So it's always good to get a coat of primer on. Theoretically, unless you're doing what I'm doing today, and this is a bit of a speed build, what I would normally recommend is you prime everything because it's a twofold thing. One, you can use it to seam check everything because what it looks like in primer is what it's going to look like in paint. So if you've got any seams that are showing through, fingerprints, the usual suspects or anything on there, dust caught in it, all of those things, it will carry through to that next layer. So because it's just primer, you can lightly sand it all back. Any areas that need perhaps filler or adjusting, panel lining, re-riveting and all the rest of it that may have gone a little bit wrong, you can fix it because it's really straightforward. Then you give it another coat of primer over the top and then you're good to go. So you've sort of know what you've got. Also, certain paints, especially things like Vallejo and stuff like that, they really work well over a primer coat and they don't really like just being put onto bare plastic because you can scratch them quite easily. And again, you can have trouble with peeling and all these types of things. So at the end of the day, it's good practice to do it. If you're doing a bit of a speedy job like here, so I'm using lacquer paints, you can get away without it, you know. But again, it's personal choice on how you go about these. But I would always recommend priming, even though I'm not doing it today. But this is purely speed, because it will cut out an hour of having to prime and let that dry before I can come in with paint. So that's the theory to it. So, right, what I will do is we'll move over to here.
It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Yes. Right, I just grab some tack just back here a sec. I'll just put some of these onto some things. So sometimes it's one of those things of saying as I do, not how I show sometimes, because again, a lot of it is just for speed, for doing things like this. Whereas obviously, you know, if it was a normal build and we were taking our time and we're doing this over the course of a week, then I would definitely be in there with primer coat. And then that way, you know, chances are if I went a bit further, I'll probably re-rivet this thing as well and all the rest of it. But because we've got to be done within 2 days or 3, it is a little bit time constraints.
It's a week, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've got other things this week, so I need to get this thing technically done by end of play tomorrow. I need to get going on the Halifax.
They gave me an heart attack.
But you have got until Thursday to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, so we've got that. The rest of it's going to be in silver. Okay, I think we've done these around the wrong way.
Yeah, but I shouldn't be weathering my cylinder heads on my engine that you can't see.
Yes. To be honest, trouble with the P47, not a lot of it you see. All the nice internal bits on that kit. All the cockpit, for instance. To be honest, when I did the Typhoon back in the day, the whole point of ripping it open and having the sides open is so you could see inside it, because you can't see a thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, how can we show the cockpit? I know, we'll take the side, you know, skin off and show it that way. Okay, right. I'm just going to pop over here. I will mute myself for a second, so if you guys can keep an eye out for stuff, just while I get a bit of paint on this, otherwise I'm going to deafen everybody out. I'll be back shortly.
I'll be back.
Surprisingly difficult to talk and model at the same time, isn't it?
It's just, especially when you head down. Okay, cool. Cool. David says, Andy, any sign of Mr. Hobbython is coming back into PM? No, it's not the problem of us. It's the supplier can't seem to get it in at the moment. So obviously everyone's struggling for stock. As soon as they come in, we were going to put an order in this week, but yeah, they got it in. If you do want to substitute, Mr. Tamiya lacquer thinners with retarder, which is the orange cap lacquer Tamiya one, that works very similar. It's pretty much exactly the same. But Mr. Colour, so I think just I don't know, just everything seems to be taking age to come in.
Just goes round in a circle, innit? Because as soon as the importers get the stock in and send it out,
yeah,
it gets sold out quick.
Yeah.
And then they're back to the same position again.
Yeah.
That's why I've got a nice big stock.
Yeah, we've got it on backup, but we're just waiting for it to come in. Unfortunately.
And that's the problem with anything it's imported nowadays, isn't it? It's just so slow coming in.
Because everywhere's taking the long way around, aren't they? Because of the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so we'll just let that dry a bit. I've got one little touch up I need to do on that. Right, I'll just check something.
Engines together. What did Phil say about not priming?
You get away with it if you need to.
Yeah, darling. I mean, my interior that I've done on my P47, I've mainly used Tamiya acrylics. I've not primed at all, but it's interior. On the outside, I'd prime because I just find it a bit scratchy. Yeah, sort of like like I said, you can see seam lines anyway through it. Yeah, when you prime, so you got something to clean up afterwards. To check seam lines, but also it just I always find Tamiya acrylics a bit. Especially for the first couple of days, so like when you're trying to get buildings, like end up scratching with my nails or something, or damaging the paintwork.
Yeah, it definitely gives you an extra protection.
Yeah,
That's the thing, isn't it?
How long do you reckon thinned coats of Mr. Surfacer to dry? I'll give it overnight, but I'm probably okay an hour, particularly with rapid thinners. It depends on what you're going to spray over top of it. If you start spraying acrylics on top of it, you can get all other colours. You get that eggshell effect where Mist surface, if it's thin enough, you should be right for an hour, a couple of hours.
Yeah, again, it's probably another reason why I'm always so slow at building. I just always give everything at least overnight to dry.
Yeah, at least that way you've got no problems, have you?
And that is, I think, the biggest problem that people have with paint is not allowing them to dry. You do need to let them properly dry, you know, and go off. But like all of us, everyone gets a little bit keen to get going with it and everything else.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you've made a bit of a mess with it all.
Yeah.
Because you've rushed it.
I mean, for the normal people, it's just like a hobby. So there's no, you're not against in a race to get something finished. Whereas someone like Phil, who's a professional model maker,
I thought you were going to say not normal.
Yeah, I would say that.
You know, you have got deadlines, and you know, you can't hang around doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Yes, you got to get on.
But just for normal people like ourselves, it's, you know, it ain't a race.
No.
Enjoy your builds. That's the thing. Okay, so as you can see over here, we have a very nice shiny. I've got one little touch up to do at the front here. I managed to bust the seam at the back by shoving that in. What I was going to do is try and cheat and use a set of tech mods with it. Unfortunately, I've already used them because this is one for a Tempest, and I thought, oh, I could get away with redoing it. But yeah, that's not going to float. So we're going to have to go for version 2, which will involve me doing my usual way of doing this. So scale-wise, as you can see, it's not far out, but it's not the correct scale. These aren't one-to-one with the model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off in a moment, and I'm going to blow these up literally on my photocopier and just expand it by 20% or whatever it is, so until they're the right size. And the easiest way to check it is literally I do this. I just stick it on, and when it's the right size in print, that's close enough for what it is. And then what we can do is we can either just use paper masking for this, or if we wanted to, we just put 40mm Tamiya tape over it, draw it out onto it, and then stick them directly applied to it. But I think we'll probably just go with the paper version of it right the way over when we get to it. So that might be slightly off air, but I've done videos all about doing that anyway. But it's a pretty quick and straightforward and easy way of doing it. But yeah, I thought the tech mod, I could use the grey scheme for doing it, but looks like we can't. So we're a little bit fudged there, unfortunately. Unless I can work this out. So that's, which one's that? This is that one. Yeah. That's B2.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Easier to do it our way. We'll stick to plan A. Right, so for the moment we just do this one. you can use 6mm and 10mm Tamiya tape for invasion stripes if you're not that anal, shall we say, about the accuracy of it, because technically it should be whatever it is. I can't remember what the measurement guides were for in there. And then obviously you do your divide by 48 and get the various sizes for it. I have got, and I will be using just masking tape, and we'll mask the lot onto it, so that'll be fine. That's quite straightforward. That's the easy bit. Right, okay, let's super glue this. And again, for doing this type of work is what we're talking about on this show, of being quick, simple, and fast repairs. Using things like Superglue for filling is great because it dries instantly and you've got 0 shrinkage. So you don't have to worry about it sort of shrinking over time if you're using filler. And again, we were talking about letting things dry. Filler is definitely the biggest one, so you don't get ghost seams or anything else in there, you know? So... And again, you can use various kickers for speeding up the drying of said these things, but just be careful on which ones you use, because I think it's the Zappagat one. If you put it near acrylic paint, it will kill it. It literally turns it to goo. So, but say this one's on lacquer is no problem at all. So, which is the Vital one, which I'm led to believe is not available anymore. Hence, very nice chap sent me multiples of. So when you're sanding superglue like this as well, the great thing about it, the dust you cause sticks to any wet superglue that could be in there. So it acts like a filler as you're going. So it's a really, really quick way. So if you notice you've got a seam line that's popped or something else like that, literally reach for the superglue, give it a squirt, let it naturally dry if you want, or failing that, you can just literally come in. And now, because we've done this, get a bit closer, you can see, because obviously we've got this now, we can see the shadowing and the various things around it as if we've done it with like black paint just to see. So we can see what's just going on down in here anyway. So we can just pop this in. But it's just purely speed. You can probably see you've got the shiny areas around in there. So obviously we need to go until it's all dull. And that's what we're trying to achieve with this. So again, with all fillers, remember, you're not trying to get rid of it all. You're not sanding it until there's no filler anymore. You're trying to do it until it's all flat and level. So you're literally waiting for it to all become even and the same. And the easiest way to do that is to put no weight on the sander when you're sanding. So that way, all you're doing is just taking the tops off. If you're pushing down, you're going to be scooping. All right, so literally just rest the sander on the top, let the sander do all the work, and just let it, the weight of the sander, and keep going. Just literally polish off that top area so it's all level. I know a lot of people sand until the filler's all gone. It's like, well, why did you bother filling? You might as well just sanded the plastic flat or made a divot. So, and then when you're somewhat getting there, flip over to the sponge.
Which is where your primer comes in again, isn't it? Because if you've got an area you filled, once you put the primer on it, you can see whether it looks okay or...
Absolutely. And that's why really you should prime everything, because it's just a good way you can see immediately what's needed. You know, with lacquers, to be honest with you, you can take a bit of a shortcut like we've done here, because I can just respray this with lacquer on top and it'll be absolutely fine. You know, but it's one of those things that it's a habit that you should just always prime. It just makes things easier, and it's not like you've ruined your nice paint and using your expensive paint as well. You know, you're just using a cheap primer.
And if you
just check,
if you've got filler, if you've got photo etch on a model, it just unifies the whole surface. So when you put your color coat on, it looks the same. Whereas if you've got different materials underneath and you've not primed, you can get different looks to the finish of your paint.
Most definitely. So what we do, we'll just pop back over here. Bring a little bit more paint. Blow this back in. And there we go, taken care of. Nice and simple. Simples. So what we can do, we'll just give that a moment to dry, and then then we can get the next coat on, get it masked up, get the next coat on, and we're on a roll. Downhill without a break.
Cool.
Question: how good is the Trumpeter 48 scale Wellington? I'll be honest with you, I've never built it. I've had it in my stash multiple times. I've reviewed it.
I've asked Matthew this because it's one that interests me, and apparently it's quite a good kit. He said.
Yeah, we're going to get a better one, eh?
I guess, yeah, that's the thing. It's the only one, unless you want to go down a back form route. But 48 scale, and they do a different couple of versions of them. You know, I must admit, I got one in the intention of converting it to a Warwick, because obviously the family history on that one, but it's totally different animal. It's, yeah, as I now know, it's completely different. Apparently the Warwick was the largest twin engine bomber of World War II. So it would be too much of a job to try and make it bigger. But I did think about getting the vac form one and then putting the vac form wings on it and stuff. That was my original, but no. Apparently it is a lot different, so I gave up. But the Wellington itself, I think, is probably, you know, one of those. Yeah. It's not a younger kit. It's been around a while now, but some of the Trumpy ones can be all right, the older ones.
I've looked at the instructions on scale mates. It looks nicely detailed.
I think I don't know, let me have a quick look-see. I haven't actually got it up here. So let me just have a look.
It's Trumper, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it looks like a Wellington. That's all I worry about.
We're waiting a long time for another one, I think. Yeah.
See, the only two I've got modern ones, you see. The trouble is that, don't forget, in the early days, pre-2010 and 2012, I think is when we made the changeover, I used to do a Friday show, and the reviews were part of that show. So it used to be a 1 hour show, and there would be 2 reviews normally as part of the show. The original 48 scale review is in those. And now we've moved completely different servers and websites and everything else. The little tags and that which were on those have died a death because they're not used by this site at all. So consequently, it's there somewhere if somebody goes back through my back catalogue of all the videos we've done back to 2001, but it would be quite difficult to find that one, I think. But as I say, the 70-second reviews up for both the Airfix and the Trumpeter one. Perhaps I'll get another one in and review it, because again, it's the only one of its type, so it'd be a cool one to do. Yeah, Zappa Gap Kicker, just be very, very careful with it. It's the red can. It doesn't like paint, doesn't like clear parts. So yeah, definitely. Okay, so the thing about fogging, does some CA glues not fog? There's some that say they don't, and Gorilla Glue is quite good for it. They do a clear one as well. But if the part that you've got, your clear part, is polished with no fingerprints on it, and there's nothing there at all, it won't fog because the gases have got nothing to stick to. So go back to watching CSI and all programs like that. That's why they look for fingerprints and they use superglue, because the gases being released off by the superglue adhere to the enzymes in your grease on your fingertips, which then is why you can see those things. And that's how they get fingerprints off of things, by using the CA glue technique. If the part's polished and has got no greasy bits or anything else on it at all, the gases have got nothing to stick to and it won't fog. But, you know, again, I like using PVA glue purely because if anything goes wrong, you can actually get in there, and PVA glue is 100% safe because you peel it off. I haven't used PVA glue on this purely for speed because I knew I was going to be handling this, and PVA glue takes a long time to go off, especially on a bubble canopy where it's going to get knocked. So I have just glued that normally with a bit of contact here. Hopefully it'll be okay. Nice sanders there, guys. I wish they were back in production. Still not found anything better than yours, Bill. I know. God, it's like someone with puppies. Everyone gives me the puppy eyes about them and all the rest of it. I was asked a couple of weeks ago, would I ever consider bringing them back and all the rest of it? And like I said before, never say never, but at the moment it's a no, purely because the financial side of it, it's still not a viable thing. Even though the world's back to normal and the prices have come down, admittedly, and shipping isn't a problem anymore, it's just for us to do a run now, having nothing, you are talking tens of thousands of pounds to us to go back into production again. And it's that money, I'm just being honest, I haven't got. So, you know, we can't afford to do it at the moment. But you never know. In the future, if things change, we have a, what do you call it? When they GoFundMe, is it? Whatever it is. We do a GoFundMe and try and get the production run back up and going. But at the moment, it's one of those areas where I get asked a lot. And it, you know, as I say, it affected me as a business because obviously it was a third of everything I did ceased. So, but that's the problem with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we will see how that one goes.
Still rough.
And it could be very polished. I've never heard of that one. You can warm up PVA glue to help speed up the hardening time significantly. I didn't know that. That's a new one on me.
Yes, really? It evaporates the water quicker,
I suppose it's just because it's air. Yeah, being warmer, it evaporates quicker. But so if I'm there with me blowtorch, my hot air gun, dry.
I've heard stories of people putting kits into ovens to dry them a bit quicker.
I've heard that as well.
Never ended well.
No. No. I must admit, it always used to worry me when I used to do the commission days back in there and you're pulling out, you know, 3 a week and stuff like that. I did have a drying cupboard. So if you imagine it basically an old wardrobe, but it had metal grill shelves on it all the way down. And I had a small fan heater at the bottom with an exhaust at the top. So the hot air would then rise up through and then out of the building. And I had that, and it always used to worry me that one day it's going to be too hot and things are going to go, oh, you know, the fan heater is going to go mental or something underneath. But it's just a little fan heater that used to tick over and it just kept the air moving around, and it would make acrylic paint, especially in those days, and enamel paints I used to use a lot of back then as well in the late 90s, early 2000s. It would make them dry in quarter of the time like that. Yeah, so there you go. You can use, if you place it into warm water and then use it with the PVA glue trick. I will have to try that because that sounds very interesting. I'll give it a whirl. So there you go. So for people who put it in the fridge, that's why it takes longer to set. There we go, you see. Wow. We've learned something today about PVA glue. Right. Okay, let's get this thing masked up. Okay, standard.
Just thought, why is no one talking to me?
You muted, were you?
Yeah.
I'm just ignoring you.
Felt like I was talking to myself. I was.
Yeah. Sorry, say something. How's it going? We'll have a look around the site in a second, everybody. So update your builds and your various things. That includes anything you want on Instagram. We'll have a look shortly.
It was like proper combat modelling the day before Telford, isn't it?
Yeah.
The last thing finished.
I think the worst thing you were saying about that, yesterday when I was doing the photos for the Apache, I broke it about 8 times. I snapped off 4 grab handles, 2 aerials, and the whip one. How it's still in one bit, I have no idea. The big whip one on the tail, because I turned it over, and next thing I've got it the right way, and it's 90 degrees. And I'm like, oh God. So I gently bent it, and it's all right. It seems to be okay, but yeah.
I'm in that bit of pause. Let that dry. It's working in like a A5 sheet of paper size bit of the bench at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I keep getting smaller and smaller and have to stop myself a second and move some stuff away.
Maybe what we need to do for one weekend build is like all have the same kit.
To be honest, me and Matt were discussing this the other day because we were talking about the kits that are up at the unit that have got to be moved. Remember we all did the Phantoms?
Yeah.
We all did the Phantom. We used to do that, all do the same kit, wouldn't it? Back in the day.
We did the Hunters together as well, didn't we? And the
Yeah, we did all the Hunters.
Fury.
Yeah, I thought that back.
Sea Furies. Yeah, well, that's what, to be honest, that's how the conversation came up, was you bringing it back. So,
We all did flankers as well once upon a time, didn't we?
yeah, remember we all did the flanker.
Went to Rio and thought, wow, that was cool. Let's build one.
Monday morning, building a flanker.
Yeah.
I've got my Hunter and my 410 back.
Nice.
You've got them back, have you?
Yeah.
I think my Ukrainian flanker's there.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I've got my Luftwaffe stuff, well, some of my Luftwaffe stuff I've picked up. I brought back with me on Friday. When I
Mine's in the bin.
It's in the bin.
You remember Lindsay broke it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I left me MiG-29 up there, I must admit. I said he could bin that. I had to make room for the Hunter and the 410. So I was going to bin a couple of kits, and I thought I'd do what we normally do when we're having a clear out. I just put them out on our front wall.
Right.
And they went within 10 minutes.
What, the local youths have them? Oh, good on you. If I left mine out on my front wall, it would still be there come January. I'll try it as an experiment, put a webcam up.
We always do it. If we're having a clear out and it's like not stuff you're going to sell, we just put it out on the front wall, and normally on a Sunday morning it generally goes.
That's handy.
We looked on eBay.
Yeah.
I really ought to tell her about not using the toilet right above the studio. Don't know how much you guys can hear.
No, you can't hear it.
Because it's Andy's blue normally sounds like flipping Niagara Falls.
God, your toilet's terrible.
Got fast flush thingy, and then it's proper noisy.
I must admit, I put a new loose seat on ours the other day because it had a crack in it, but now it takes forever to shut. It's like the slowest one ever.
Oh yeah, we've got a soft close one.
Yeah.
Problem is when you go around people's houses that haven't, and you just automatically.
Yeah, I know. You just slam it down.
Right, drilling holes in wings. One, 2, 3, 4 holes.
Do Mustangs have a seam on the nose cowl? Yes, they do. They come off in one, but there's still a seam. It's two panels that join at the top, if I remember correctly. Right, okay. So if we pop back to the forum, I can find it. Forum. Right. Okay. So mine's all masked up, and in a moment we'll have a look around the forum, and then we'll get back in the spray booth, and we'll do the darker grey on the top, and then we'll get the camo work sorted and things like that. And so what we'll do over in the forum, pop down and see how you guys are getting on. Where are we? 80th anniversary. There we go. Right. Okay. So Peter is doing the weekend edition Spitfire, and there we go. Got it all coming together, nicely painted and weathered on the inside. Yes, indeed. There we go. Two halves together, cockpit installed, nice harnesses, gun sights in, mast up. Looking nice. Very nice. Is it a clipped one? Or has he just got the wingtips to go on in a minute? Did we ever work out about the cowlings on a Spitfire? Are they flat on top? And what versions did they go flat?
I watched a historical program called Dunkirk.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that's very accurate. Yeah.
and that Spitfire and that got really flat engine cowling. So to me, on that one, you can say it has as well, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was really round. Isn't that a Yak 52 they used for the in-flight scenes?
Was it? Right.
Wasn't it a Yak trainer they had for it?
It was one of the flights ones we saw it. So was it just AI? Was it they used in?
No. Dunkirk was all proper stuff, but the scenes where he's in it, and you sort of the forward looking down the cowlings and that. Yeah. If you look at it, it's fake stacks because I think it was a Yak 52 or something they used.
Right.
Originally, they were going to use something else, but it pulled out at the last minute, so it couldn't do it. So I think they used, wasn't it, radio controlled for the Heinkel?
Right.
Pretty sure that might have been radio controlled, that one. But
did you have a Stuka? Was that was radio control? Wasn't it?
Yeah, the Stukas were radio controlled as well. I think proper good school stuff, proper Battle of Britain stuff. But yeah, I can't remember. I'm sure chat will tell me, or one of the chats. I can't have the other chat up at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it was a Yak. Whatever it is, it's a radial. And they put fake exhaust stacks on it, so it looked like it was a Spitfire. So,
that's clever.
I tell you what, Battle of Britain. Here we go. I'm just going to have to go for this whilst I'm on it. I was watching it the other day, right? So, has anybody got a proper decent Blu-ray copy? Because we want to check. At the opening scene where they get overrun and the Hurricanes are all leaving, right? At one point, I can't remember what it is now, lands before the Germans turn up in a Hurricane. And as he gets out, it looks like there's a person behind the seat with blonde hair. So it's the scene where he actually gets out, but I saw it on YouTube or whatever it was, and it wasn't a good, obviously a good one, an HD one is, but I'm pretty sure somebody's actually piloting the thing because you can see it taxi in and then he gets out, but I'm pretty sure there's someone behind with blonde hair because he gets out the cockpit and pulls away. It looks like a mop of blonde hair behind him. In the cockpit is left behind. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It could be a sheepskin lined thing, but it looks like someone's head pops up slightly, just the top of their head. But they've got blonde, shaggy hair, whoever it was. So I don't know if that was like a fake one because they used a lot of them just for ground taxi, and they were pulling them along on ropes on the ground to make it look like they were taxiing around in them. I don't know if that was it, but there's definitely something there. So go off and have a look, and then get back to me.
I'm just looking now, see if I've got a copy of it.
Yeah, because you've got a Blu-ray, it'd be a little bit clearer digitally, but there's definitely something in there that you can see it. Right, okay, this is the build with a duo for the Airfix pair of the Typhoon and the Spitfire, which was from Greg. There we go. Bit of pre-shading gone down in there. First coat on. Oh, look, cling film technique. Good job. Man after my own heart. There we go. Tempest looking very nice as well. Very cool. Okay, what else we got? Cromwell. The I don't know if it loads through. There we go. Oh, look, it's a nice colorized pick. Very nice as well. Cool. This is from Keith. Coming together. Red wheels. Has he got the right amount of wheel nuts on it? Or is that a different kit? That was the 35th one, wasn't it? Very nice. Nice quick build on that one.
No, I ain't got it, Phil. What I got.
Oh, right. Okay. 72nd. Oh, look. It's that build up. Fixed his airbrush. Oh, right. Okay. So this is Grant. If you remember back to this morning show, I was saying about pushing through your needle back to front. So you got the blunt end, and look at the crud that he's just pushed through. Look at that. See, that's not good. That's why your airbrush isn't going well. Anyway, there we go. Both of those two looking nice. The Tiger and the Sherman. There we go. Bit of pre-shading down on there. Top coat going on. Very nice. Coming together very nicely indeed. Okay. Oh, the glider. Got the Horser. Is that why Matt's not doing it? So you don't got to do all the seats and everything at the back?
Look like a bit of a faff, that, doesn't it?
Mm.
Not good when it's done.
Yes. Oh, look, bit of nose weight going in. So almost 24 grams of nose weight. There we go. Interior looking good. Seats. There we go. All taped up. Wings. Ooh, out with the filler. Bit of filler. Very smart. All you need now is a Sterling toe in it.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done, Nigel. Good job on that.
Crikey, is that the 135th one he's doing?
No, that's the Tallery one.
Oh. I say, imagine that.
Oh,
135th.
we'll come back to that one. Sorry, I'll click the wrong one. Yes. Michael, he's doing the landing boat as well. This is the FX one. Very nice indeed. Are you not? Yeah, you got to do your hull, lower hull colour, John. Look.
Some were and some weren't.
Oh, right, okay. Is yours, I take it, not then?
Depends on how much time he's got.
To be honest, I have seen one's similar with like a black bottom on it.
Right.
And that does look quite nice.
Hmm.
Apparently, it depended on the ships they were coming from, apparently.
Oh, right. So you're not doing it in Splinter or anything, then?
God, no, that's why I picked this one, not the Airfix Higgins boat.
Very nice. Coming along very nicely on that one. Like the grey work. It's got that proper heavy look to it. Other side. Oh, look, decals on. Looking very nice indeed. Good job. Oh, look, prime wash time. Let that dry back, give it a good rub. Very nicely done, Michael, coming along there. Very smart indeed. Right, okay. The Tamiya little utility car. There we go, come in. Robert's working on. Classic Tamiya kit. Very nice. Lovely little Tilly. Very nice. Hawker Typhoon. This is from Chris. He's doing the Academy one. Starting on that one. And right, okay. Big scales. So John's obviously working on his landing boat with the 35th scale. There you go. It also doubles up as a weathering station. Cromwell. Looking really good. Very nice. Cool job. Like the weathering. Weathering's looking really good. Okay. Last up. Well, two more. Oh, Royal Class for the P51BC. Or Mark III in his case, if he's doing that one. Very nice. All the various bits. Does come with nice seats. Got both seats. And obviously comes with the stacks as well. Oh, there we go. Taped up. Bit of a mock-up. Looking good. It is beautifully done. Lovely riveting lines on it. There we go. Internals all painted up. The seat all done. Very smart. Cockpit. Very nice work. Wheel wells. Fitted, prop, done, lights in. All being buttoned up. Very nice indeed. Cool job.
Good, wasn't it?
There we go. 9 hours, 30 minutes. And he's 45% complete. Very good job. Excellent. Okay. Last one. This is Mike. He's doing the ICM Classic P51C. And obviously he's got the Mosquito. Oh no, sorry, he's using the markings. Very nice. Classic kit from ICM. To be honest, they're a little bit of a handful, but they do go together. So he's doing the Mark III as well by the looks of it. Because clearly it's the best looking one, especially with invasion stripes. That's going to come out really nice.
Yeah,
very nice indeed.
I prefer that version to the D.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's cool with the stripes on, definitely.
Very good. Anyway, loads of stuff going now, guys. We'll pop back a little bit later and see how some of the rest of you are doing. I will leave it open so we can have a look a little bit later. So well done, everybody who's taking part. Where are we? Adam says, yes, there is. If you watch the Blu-ray version, there's a lot of consistencies where you see the pilot in the shot. Ah, is that what it is? So I always wonder when you see him taxiing around, you know. I didn't sure if they were like the cardboard versions of them going round that were done, or if it was like, you know, the actual real aircraft with them just sat inside. I think we ought to have an evening and we can all sit and watch it together. We can't have the sound on because we get copyrighted, but go through and spot them all the little things in there, because there's loads of them. The worst one clearly is the doorbell and the bit where the repeat please, all the ones at the back are 109s. So they are the two biggest ones, the easy glaring ones.
I think they did all that without any CGI.
Well, this is it. It was pre-CGI days, wasn't it? Nobody had time to take the doorbell off from his double glazed front door. Right. Okay. So next up, I'm going to move back in the spray booth and we'll get the next coat of paint on. First of all, we're going to blacken up the actual cockpit a bit, just to make sure that that's nice and dark. So just mute myself a sec for the viewers.
Ouch. Okay. It's quiet.
David
Concentrating.
asked a question. Do you reckon there's any difference between a 0.2 nozzle on a finger and a 0.3?
I'd
Can't imagine.
say 0.1.
Yeah, 0.1. Not a lot. You're just going to put more paint through, isn't it? I mean, are you going to really?
I'm back. I'm back.
Here.
Was that question? When you're using a 0.2 on your finger, it comes fitted, or is it better to go 0.3? I use 0.2. I've always used 0.2 for everything. All of my airbrushes for working are 0.2. I've got a 0.4 and I've got a 0.6 in other things, like my big gum one, which I use for flat coating and glossing and stuff like that, which is this one. It's basically got a 0.6 in it. It's quite a large one, but that's for hoofing down big things. So say big flat coats, and also when I do a lot of my prop stuff and obviously the big resin stuff and things like that, doing a little one takes forever, so you need something with a bit more oomph. I wish it had a bigger colour cup, to be honest. I thought about getting one of those ones you can screw in. But that's in that scale, yeah. Honestly, I don't think you'll notice much difference between a 0.2 and a 0.3. Teeny tiny things.
I just find when you put your bigger nozzle on, your paint disappears a bit quicker. That's about the only difference I've noticed. For years, I was putting a 0.2 needle in a 0.4 nozzle on a harder and steam mech and didn't realise.
To be honest with you, Matt did that and sent me his airbrush, and that's because he had a 0.2 nozzle with a, I think he had a 0.4 in it.
Remember that
I'm wondering why it wasn't working. Because he had his nozzles and his needles all mixed up. So I fitted them both with a nice 0.2 and he was fine.
I had it just I just thought it was because it was old and the nozzles on those things splice, but
yeah.
I think air pressure and distance and paint consistency make way more difference than the nozzle side.
To be honest, David, saying about question about using glue for sticking on aerials to clear parts, tiniest bit of CA glue. So what I tend to do is, if it's like an aerial, like you're saying on 109s, is that, you know, if you just put a tiniest little blob and then you got the aerial, it will bite onto it. It doesn't need any at all and it'll be absolutely fine. Because the trouble is, if you're using like a knitted in elastic like I'm using, you stretch it a little bit to give a bit more of a scale effect, because if it's just neat on its own, it's a little bit thick. So if you pull it, it gets thinner. So I tend to use a tiny little bit on the end of a cocktail stick, just a little nib of it, super glue, touch it on the clear part, put it on, it will be instant grab and it'll be absolutely fine. At John, as he's late in, what are you building? Talk us through it, John. John, are you awake? Question for you. What are you building?
I'm building a LCM3. You know, get the box lid.
So this is the Atalery 70-second scale. Sorry, trumpeter, 70-second.
70-second scale one. So, and not a bad little kit it is either, I must admit.
Been a nice change.
I've built a floaty thing since I was a kid. Well, yeah, quite how well these things floated, I don't know.
As long as they got to the beach, they've done their job, haven't they?
Mind you, they had to go back and get more, didn't they? Get them back off, push them off with something.
I've been in a version of one of them. I don't know whether it was actually one of them or not, but
I was going to ask for weathering tips on the base. Any good weathering tips for vomit?
Yeah, just thin with chunks.
Yeah, is it chunky vomit? Or are we talking the more sort of watery type? I'm sure AK will come out with it.
Yeah.
That's true, actually. Every time on the films, you only ever see the watery type, don't you?
Well, that's it. Yeah, I always think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially The Exorcist. Hello, can it be available direct? Oh, can you rewatch this? Yes, you can rewatch all of these. They'll be up on the players everywhere, so just click on it. Once it's ended, you might have to wait half hour for it to do its bit, but it will come back and you can just rewatch these at your leisure. Green stuff has a vomit effect. Really? There we go, you see? You need some green stuff then, John.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Have a look, you'll be fine.
It's new. Crikey.
Is it an American landing craft?
Yes.
Definitely need like bullet dings in the front of it then. They got shot up a bit, didn't they? The Omaha Beach.
Yes. Alan's off. Thanks, Alan, for being with us today. Hope to see you later. Grant, question for Phil. In your video on polishing and masking canopies, you mentioned that dipping doesn't work well with masking. Why is that? Purely because if you're polishing to a high standard, you shouldn't really need to dip it. The problem that you've got is if you dip your canopy, and then obviously at some point you've got to mask it, you run the risk of it peeling when you remove your masking tape. So if you've got to mask your canopy, say you're doing framing work and that afterwards, what can happen is that literally, because it's on corners and things, it will lift it clean off and you end up with it looking like broken glass because bits of it will come off, some areas won't. What I tend to do on areas that really need it, and I'm looking around for it, I can't see it now. In fact, it's here because I need to reattach it onto something. In fact, I need to do loads of fixing with this, as you can see. But this is the one for the A10, and this was, to be honest, not the nicest canopy in the world, purely because it's an old trumpeter kit. You had a huge seam line going through the middle here and all the rest of it. So what I ended up doing with this one is taking out the seam, scrape cleaned it, then obviously we sanded and polished it and all the rest of it. And because it still wasn't particularly pretty, what I ended up doing was that I masked it as it was, we painted it all up and all the rest of it, and then I dipped it afterwards once this had been painted. So then I literally dipped it, put it down, left it to dry for a couple of days under a cover so it doesn't get any dust on it. All right. And then that way, one, it's sealed in, as you can see down in here, the aerial at the back. All right. So it seals it in place so it doesn't come off or anything else like that. All right. But also, once it had done, I didn't have to mask it. And I just came along and hand brushed the satin on the actual side bits all the way through. So it was easier to do that because what I was worried about, that obviously it had been done, and then you come along and then you have to obviously mask it up. And if you remove it and you have any problems, you can have a right nightmare with it. And some of the better finishes, shall we say, like the Goozy one and dipping thing, they're incredibly thin and they don't adhere well to shiny surfaces. It's fine on something that's a little bit texture because it can have a bit of bite. But on something whereas obviously you haven't got any grip at all, like, well, you know, something's polished, then you're better off doing it afterwards. And also, to be honest, it's quicker. It's faster, easier and quicker. And to be honest, I've got to stick this back on. So I can do that now. So we can talk about using CA glue for putting on clear parts. So the way I do this type of thing, if you're wondering how to get photo etch parts onto a canopy, get a little bit of tape just to pop down in here. then you take your super glue. We're just going to put a very rough, like that. Got a brush. I'm going to thin this out so it's not puddled up and too thick and all the rest of it in any areas, because we don't want it going over the top, just like that. And then we have the place like that one. In fact, I'm going to do it more like that. I'm just going to come in just on the edge, because obviously this is all super glue. Then we're going to come along to the part. And we'll just hopefully got paint on it and all sorts on this. Come on, white. Old super glue. And there we go. We've got it on the edge again now. And it's just a fine little one, just like that. So that's on. And then we've got a tiny little mirror in here, which is broken off as well. So we'll come in with the old tweezers for this job. So it's black on one side, reflective on the other. And then all we're going to do is holding it on the edge, because you don't want the super glue to go in the thing. We just come in. And now we have the mirror on as well. To be honest, it probably could do with a little bit more and a little bit of a play with. But that's how we get them onto clear parts. Admittedly, because this is 30 seconds, you've got a little bit of wiggle room around the edges because it's not right onto it. But yeah, you could do it with PVA glue, but it's a lot quicker. And obviously it holds it in place instantly, but I would recommend perhaps coming along with a, you know, a PVA glue as well. So, yes. But since we did that kit long time ago in a faraway galaxy. And then always make sure you get rid of your tape before you put your arm in it. And super glue yourself to the bench.
Yeah, done that a few times.
Done that. I've got scars on me to prove it.
Yeah.
Done that.
Right. Let's see. You alright, everyone? Everyone knackered?
Yeah.
Knackered.
I've done 6 months worth of modelling in the past 2 days. So. For me.
Good, clean fun.
So there we go. Both colours on. We've got the lighter, we've got the darker on the top there. Looking very nice. Very shiny. Oh.
So Andrew's asking a good question. Andy might know. Have AK changed the numbers on real colour paints?
Just don't know.
Everybody else.
Honestly, I haven't got a clue. Let me have a quick look. I can tell you.
Like RC003 might now be RC809. Oh God, why would they do that? Just to take them?
Because they can.
Yeah.
Because it means everyone will go out now and rebuy the whole set.
Yeah.
The only thing that's slightly better, from what I've heard, they're the same price, but you do get extra.
Yeah.
They're the same price. Instead of getting it for 10mm, you're getting 17 now. So that's my only thing. So I thought if they stick the price up as well, that's going to be taking the proverbial, to be honest.
I just missed my glass jar.
But apparently not.
Glass jar.
I do. I like the wide neck glass jars. I don't like the new ones, but have to move along with the times.
See, they're still not available. He says. Where are they?
I know, they're still officially not released, but what annoys me is that AK is selling them direct at shows.
Are they really?
Yeah, oh yeah. they started at Mossam for the release. And it was like, oh, so you can go and buy them there, apparently. So I thought it's just a bit naughty, but there you go. That's just me moaning as ever.
So, because we've got our order in with said company, we haven't had any information yet. And they're definitely not on their. I'm on their trade site bit and not on there.
Don't know. It's something to keep an eye on when they arrive. Then just don't automatically assume the numbers have copied over.
I was hoping I could just change the pictures on the site and get away with it.
What is a good method for removing the blemishes after putting down AK Extreme Metals? Chris, I would call it weathering, mate. It depends what the blemish actually is. If it's really bad, I would recommend leaving it for a couple of days for it to go off, lightly polishing it, repolishing it, you know, so literally don't go in there with like a medium sander, polishing sanders, rub it back until you've basically gone through it, because it won't take much, and then blow it back in. The trouble that you actually have when you're doing any time of natural metal finish is that it needs to be perfect before you even get near it with the natural metal finish. Because otherwise any imperfections and blemishes are going to just carry through. And because the paint, as I said before, and I say it all the time, when you're doing any type of like natural metal finishes, especially working with things like extreme metals or with alclads and all those types of things, is that it's such a thin paint, you can't hide anything. So the preparation for it is absolutely everything. The key stage for doing any type of sort of, you know, metal work is putting down technically a black gloss coat. The reason for using black is because especially use a gloss black, which I always use Tamiya X1, I just find it works best for me, is that you can see it. So when you look at it, you can catch it in the light and you can see if there's any imperfections into it. And you want it like an absolute mirror in black. And then obviously let that totally dry. And the great thing is, because it's black as well, when you're spraying it, you can see exactly when you've covered it and where you're going with it, because it's such a high contrast with the black. If you try it with greys and stuff, yes, of course it will do it, but you can't really see where you're going. So that's why I tend to use black with it. So again, it's all about it. And occasionally you are going to get the odd bit of dust land into it, you'll catch it, those types of things. So normally when that happens, I just tend to get in there, give it a little bit of a rub down with like a polishing sponge normally, because that's literally what needs to get through it. And then once you've done with that, you can literally just overcoat that area. What you can do if you want to be a bit creative, and it's what I did on the B17 especially, is that if I need to blow in an area, I just don't come along and put a patch in, because that will look odd, because it's not like a paint one where it could look like somebody just touched it. It's not going to work on a metal. Go to the nearest panel line. So wherever the nearest panel line is to it, do that. Detack your masking tape completely. As I always say, you literally just come along and get it until this stuff is less sticky than a Post-it note. You know, you want to do it literally on you until it's basically falling off. All right, so just keep picking up the old skin cells in your oils, and you'll see it like here, it's starting to curl up now where it's not sticking. So that's what you want, because when you do come across and you put it down onto a panel line, and you rub it on, it will be enough to hold it on here, but taking it off, it's hardly got any bite. And because you're doing this thing of plating, so it's just a quick coat over these things, you're not flooding it down. You don't have to worry about it getting underneath and seepage and stuff, because it's going to be a one and done. You blow along, let it dry, go again. But if you take it to the next panel line, what you'll end up with, even if it's slightly different, it'll look like it's had a new panel. And that's common as hell with all these types of things. So it's exactly what I did with the B17. So the B17 is one of those ones where, you know, a lot of people saying, oh, you can't overmask it. And that's why I showed about painting all the walkways on. We did everything on this one. You can put over it, but you need to detack this until it's basically got no tack. And like this now, it's got nothing really at all, but it's enough if you wanted to on a nice shiny surface. And obviously being shiny, we're talking about metal finishes and stuff, because you know they're going to be like a mirror and nice and smooth. It will stick to it. It wouldn't stick to something with a texture, with a flat coat. It would be useless, but it will stick to very shiny stuff. And that way it's just enough to hold these in place. So I would highly recommend doing that.
The problem some of us have is...
Yeah, well, if you're a hairy gorilla,
it's like,
you just shave your palms.
Be like a bikini wax. I do it on my palms.
I was going to say, to be honest, I normally do it. You'll see in my videos, but I do it on the underside of my arm. and literally just do it down in there. So literally underside of your arm and pick it up. But the thing is, what you don't want to do, of course, is come along, grab lint, because if you've got lint, the little bit sticking out, that will track. So again, you get people and they detack it on their trousers and stuff and they stick it to the model. Those tiny microscopic bits of lint that are sticking outwards, the actual watery side of it, if you like, the fluid tracks along those and goes underneath, and you wonder why you get overspray and like it's got underneath it as well, and you got creep, and then you peel it off, you got a big wet puddle under it, and it's because of that. So never do that. So that's why I tend to use skin cells. It's the future. Like I say, DNA in this business.
Yeah.
Now look, David's put up some links for the AK real colour, name changes and conversion charts and all the rest of it.
Can't believe they've renumbered paints. That's silly.
I always never quite understand why companies don't do RLM 71. Should be number 71.
Well, you thought somebody forward thinking would think like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want to do, Grant. You don't want to get hair over your masking tape. Keep it nice and clean. Also, the thing is, you do have to be careful with, if you're not in a holder like one of these, right, and it's loose, just be careful how it picks it up on the edges, because then you undo it, you grab a bit off, and actually it's got bits all on the edge from the outside of these. That's why in some ways having them inside a case is pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't have a 10mm case. So yeah, I've got the other sizes. Oh, is that an 18? Which one's this? Oh, it's just 10mm. So, but yeah, could do with one, but don't have one for that one. I'll tell you what, it's funny how Mr. Colour, Dave's talking about Mr. Colour, it gets overlooked these days, and I don't know why, because Mr. Colour, Aqueous and the Lacquer range are really good paints, but it's almost like they've just forgotten about. No one cares about them anymore. Why? Because they are really good paints. They do exactly what you want. They've got good, strong colour, and, you know, yeah, just a bit weird.
It's in doubt.
They got really good at marketing, didn't they?
Yeah.
All got sucked along.
The Scale Model Shop.co.uk is saying they've got them in stock. Do they? Or is it they're coming soon? That's the do. Oh no, it is saying in stock. So how they've got those, I don't know.
Yeah, companies saying they're in stock doesn't mean they're in stock though.
That's it. Some companies will tell you it's in stock because they think it's coming this week. Well, we've been told it's in within the next week or two. So they may be just trying to fudge it a little bit. So I say, I'm not saying they could have them in stock. And if they have, though, I'd like to know how.
Yeah, there's back of they've been scratching.
So I'm being nosy now. Shouldn't be doing this, but hey. Sorry, just being nosy. Right, okay. Oh, look at that. Sad day, Chad. So the just want to let you know that VMA 231 have just done their last ever air show demo with the Harrier. They'll be the last standing Harrier squadron before they switch over to the F-35s. That's a sad day, isn't it?
Yes, we've been there, haven't they? We've lost the Harrier. Just for the Spanish.
Yeah, I suppose. Is India still flying them?
No, I don't think so.
No, they got on
Might
there
be
as well.
wrong.
So literally, it's just the Spanish, is it? The Matador.
Scary to think that next year is what 20 years since we lost the sea area.
My God.
Oh, well, that was criminal. That was the FA2. Some of those were almost brand new, and they scrapped them. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Phil, what oils do I need to weather RLM 02, 65, and 71? What colours are they again? Because I'm not Luftwaffe-y. I have no idea what that is.
Like grey greens.
So it's a grey green and a grey, is it, or a green?
Yeah.
So literally, if you're doing anything with grey, then you could either go slightly darker to it or lighten it. Obviously, go in with a lighter oil. So RLM 65 is the blue. Okay, so the blue you could use. Where is it? I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. Glasses. 1 second. Where is it? You could use ABT 170 light grey. It's like light ghost grey. It's got a blue hue to it. It's quite a strong blue hue. In fact, I think I've covered it up now. I have. But if you look at the Apache build, originally that's what I was going to dry brush the entire thing with it. But when we tried to do it, it was really blue. So we backed out of it, and I actually mixed a little bit of neutral grey into this one as well. And then that way it toned down this a little bit, but it's way too strong. But it would be great on that. It would be great on a light blue. Dunkelgrün. 71, green. Which is green. So with the greens, if you're going to lighten it, usual thing, go yellow. So, and in fact, I think they even called it that. Don't they call it? Whatever it is on these. Some of these, because say I've got the old ones and the new ones. This is that. There you go. So yeah, ABT 10. I've got old and new versions. Actually, I have 3 soon with the new one, and it actually does call it Luftwaffe yellow, or it's just yellow. So just a tiny bit of that of your greens, and that will lighten them up, but it won't pale it out. That's what we were saying. When you're using the primary colours from these things, it lightens the shade of it without bleaching it. So it's quite nice. So you've probably seen me use greens loads of times. Look at the B25, used it on the Mitchell. So yes, definitely. But again, it's one of those ones. Don't forget, when you're doing any type of weathering to break them up with oils, you can go both ways. So you can slightly darken it as well to give it a weathered look. So some of those you could make a little oil wash, and then literally just rub it all over, let it start to dry, and then stipple it a little bit. That breaks things up really well. Hello to Ihio. They're out of bed. Was it night coming up for 9 o'clock there? Anymore. I can't believe where the time's gone. It's coming up for 4 o'clock. Time has literally flown. I'm going to have to be playing with the. I'm going to be painting this as we're doing the quiz. So I wanted this painted and done by the time I did the quiz. So that'd be fine. Be fine. Not a problem. Right. Any more questions? Any more questions? Where are we? Tagged. Refresh. Oh, a couple of nice ones over on Instagram been put up as well. So we've got over here, very nice Typhoon, firing a brimstone by the looks of it. Very nice in flight. Very cool. So this is the oh, it's Tom. Tom. Tom's one of our oldest members. I don't mean in age of Tom himself, because I think me and Tom are the same age. I was just as in, how long he's been with us. I think he's proper old school from back in the early 2000s. So, but no, very nice there, Tom. Good job. You still doing the commission work, Tom? Because that would be a good one. And come on. Oh, it doesn't like it moving me when I try that. Okay. And Tom again. He's done the Trop Spitfire. Oh, the Malteser markings, as I call it. The lighter way to eat chocolate. I do like it because it's really faded back on it. It's almost like the predecessor to modern aircraft, isn't it? Being grey. But it's still got that nice red nose, being a troppy one. Very cool. Nice work, Tom, as always. Good job. We've got to look and see what John's doing because I haven't got a clue. What are you doing, John?
Right, there's, I don't know what they are. They look like walking sticks. They go on the side. Okay.
Yeah. Are they breather pipes?
They could be. They could.
I reckon they're breather pipes on the sides.
Really thin, fragile plastic with massive connection points. Now I've got that one.
Down a bit. Down a bit. Sorry, you're a bit high. That's it. Perfect.
When I did the ones on this side, I broke one of them.
Right.
So all I've done is got some copper wire.
Yeah.
Rolled it out straight. Put a little bend in the end and cut them to size, and they look far better. So I'm taking that one off and replacing it with a one that I've made.
Very nice. Cool. Good job. Look at that scratch building going on. Good afternoon to Christchurch, or evening in your case. Crikey. Yeah. Or is it? Yeah.
Ooh.
Or is it tomorrow over there? They're in tomorrow? Jesus, that's got to be late over there, isn't it?
All that.
Ooh, where?
It's a lovely place, Christchurch.
Yes. You planning on going back, John, after your holiday being a bit short?
It would be nice.
John was lucky enough to be there in COVID. Shame you weren't in your caravan at the time, in your camper. You could have just lived in that.
Oh, Christ, no. We had a very nice Airbnb apartment.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, because like New Zealand had one of the strictest lockdowns, didn't it?
Mm. Chad said he's not doing anything D-Day, but he's finishing a commission of the Tamiya F-35. Very nice. How's it going, Andy?
Yeah, all right, actually. The top part
Yes.
here,
yep.
The way it tells you to glue it together separately and then put it onto the top. But with test fitting it was a very, very tight fit on lengthwise.
Right.
I didn't sand it down because if I pushed it down, it does actually fit, but it's very, very tight. I didn't sand it down, otherwise I end up with a misshaped seam or somewhere. So I've put it on, got it together, taped it together, and actually glued the spine, even though it's not actually glued to on the side yet. So nice. I know, but it's all perfectly flush. I've taped it right down tight. So what I'll probably do is like just glue in between the tapes. Yeah. And then it's all that. Once it's properly glued, then take them off and then fully glue it again properly. But it's a really, 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 really nice kit. I keep saying it, and it is.
Again, I still maintain. Obviously, I know a lot of people talk about the obviously the Mini Art one now, but I built that one when it first came out, which is, I don't know, God knows how long ago now. And it was one of those kits which, I often talk about how Tamiya doesn't evolve. It was one of their kits that came out of nowhere. It was like really good, really well engineered, goes together beautifully. It's got great detail all the way through. It's when Tamiya used to make strives with each release. That was definitely one of them when that kit came out.
I mean, people say that the Mark 1 Spitfire is one of the best ones that they've ever done, which I suppose technically it is, but this one's a lot nicer to build, I'm finding, than the Mark 1 Spitfire. Yeah, it is a bit simpler, but it's just, it's just, again, we talk about how companies complicate things just for the sake of it, and that one sort of seems like it more than this does. This seems to be fitting together better, weirdly, but yeah.
Very nice kit.
Yeah, Mark 1 Spitfire, which is almost ready for, well, pretty much ready for paint, to be honest with you, but it's painted on the underneath.
I was going to say, did you decide to do the silver then?
The silver, yeah.
You have.
Gone with it says in the instructions, yeah, the silver, yeah. Yeah. But it's all right.
Fair enough.
But I've got waylaid by doing this.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Enjoying it.
Matt just had the red arrows, give him a flyby. Very nice. I'd say nice last weekend because we had an air show just about 10 miles away. So we had everything sort of coming over here, going in and out of it. So it's quite nice seeing the Catalinas and all the rest of it go past. Very nice indeed. Okay, well, we are basically almost done because it's 4 o'clock.
Wow, that's gone quick.
So we're going to have a little bit of a comfort break for a couple of hours, get some food sorted. I will rescale this on the photocopier and I'll get this on and then probably painted during the break and everything. We're going to be back with you at 7:30. All right, so we're going to be about a couple of hours and then we'll be back with you. Chances are we still will be here doing this. Yeah. But anyway, don't forget, we've still got offers going on. You can grab yourself whilst we're not here. So we've got over on the Flory site, so just click in there to florymodels.org, go to the store page, which is right there. All right, and you come in and it's basically 25% off absolutely everything down in here. All right, we've got some stuff off the merch as well. We've got the mugs, dust up at $7.99 as well for the sort of normal Flory mug. But also with you, we've got the limited edition Kareem mug. So once those are gone, that is it. There is never more. That's why if you click in here, you'll see pictures of the other ones. From previous years, they are no longer available. So it is a collector's item as well. So if you fancy getting one of those for the start of Flory Models Europe with Kareem, they are down with you on there just like that, as well as all the other bits and pieces as always. So you can grab that down in there. Pop over to the PM Model site. Obviously said before, we've got the 25% off the Abtai Lung range of pigments. We've got some off the MIG washes and filter sets. We've still got the standard 15% off our remaining stocks of all the AK real colours. This is the normal glass bottles of it until we get the new ones in. And then over here on the special ones, we've got various stuff down in here as well. Got that great Apache that I've just finished building, just at 50 quid. Go out and buy it because it's a mega kit, even if it just sits in your stash, because that's a good price for it as well instead of 85. All right. So, and again, various other bits down in here, sort of D-Day related, as you can see. All good prices as well. So if you want to grab any of these ones, you can do. Just scroll through, have a look, click it in your basket and pay at your leisure. All right. We've also got the pigment jockeys, which Matt did say, give us a quick run through how to use them. I've never used them. I wouldn't have a clue. So he's going to show us that hopefully tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock if you want to join us for that one, if you can't join us this afternoon. So yes, good job, everyone. So how's it going, Nath? You doing a tank now?
I just thought, well, I'm waiting for all this to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for decals this evening. I thought I might as well build a Sherman. Yeah, fix like start set one.
Yeah, nice.
Rescue a few bits from the carpet monster that I've dropped, and it's finished.
Very
yeah,
nice.
It's the Airfix little series one thing, cute little thing, isn't it?
Very nice, very cute. They're very good kits, those little ones. So yeah, nice little mojo blasters, those ones, which is really nice. Cool.
Throwing it together now.
That's all right. Right, okay then, guys. We will leave it with you for now. So we're going to be back with you 7:30 this evening. So if you want to come along there, it is quiz night. So grab a beer and your snacks and a pad and prepare to be made to look a right Charlie, because I will. It's like nil point, like Eurovision. So, but if you want to come along and join us for that, I probably will do a little bit of building as well. We're going to be on between 7:30 and 9. Love to have you along for that one. And then the conclusion to our 80th anniversary is tomorrow morning. So we're going to be with you from sort of 10 in the morning to around about midday-ish. We might go a little bit longer. You know what we're like when we get going. All right, and that'll conclude. Members and things, don't panic. You can keep building and all the rest of it. It's going to finish actually on Thursday of next week as well, or Thursday coming now. All right, so you've got a week to get these sorted and done. All right, so don't rush them through. Take your time with them, make them nice, and then we'll get them up for a final reveal at the end of Friday, the Friday show next week. So yes, good job. Right, are we all happy, kids?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right then, everyone. Happy modding. Take care. We'll see you this evening at 7:30. We'll see you later. Say goodbye, gentlemen. Bye.
Bye.